All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Cheryl Davies, and I'm the Area Port Director for U.S. Customs and Border Protection at the Los Angeles International Airport. I'd like to thank all of our guests and the news media for being here today. We're here to celebrate the grand opening of the first in the nation dedicated Air Centralized Examination Station, or as we refer to it, the Air CES. CBP is very proud to partner with Customs Specialized Services, our warehouse operations contractor, to streamline the way we do cargo inspections at LAX. Since the COVID pandemic began, LAX has experienced a dramatic increase in e-commerce shipments. The pandemic forced many brick-and-mortar retail stores to close, changing the nature of traditional commerce. Millions of people now make purchases online over the internet from the comfort of their homes, which has significantly increased the volume of air cargo. CBP enforces complex trade laws and regulations, and this increase in air cargo has presented monumental challenges. Today, LAX processes about 40% of all the nation's value of all low-value or Section 321 shipments. These are basically shipments that are less than $800 in value, declared value, which are emitted free of duty and free of tax. While the vast majority of importers do follow U.S. laws and regulations, transnational criminal organizations continuously try to circumvent the system by attempting to hide contraband under the massive flow of legitimate low-value shipments. CBP's response to this challenge is to consolidate cargo exams in a centralized location like the one we're in today. This Air CES will allow CBP to efficiently facilitate legitimate shipments while intercepting and seizing illicit goods. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our distinguished guests. Mr. Carlos Martel, Director of Field Operations for CBP Los Angeles. Mr. Martel, thank you for being here. Mr. Tony Gregory, CEO of Customs Specialized Services. Mr. Gregory, thank you for joining us today. Mr. Jim Swanson, Director of Cargo Security and Control from CBP Headquarters. Thank you for making the trip out to LA, and thank you for all of your support getting us to where we are today. And I would also like to recognize a long-standing strategic partner, Mr. Justin Urbacci, CEO of the Los Angeles World Airports. Mr. Urbacci, thank you for your continued support of the CBP mission. And without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker. As the Director of Field Operations for Los Angeles, DFO Martel oversees all CBP operations in the greater Los Angeles area and in Las Vegas, Nevada. This includes LAX, the Los Angeles Long Beach Seaport, and the McCarran International Airport. The Los Angeles Field Office is one of the largest, most complex, and most critical of CBP operations around the country. LAX is the third busiest international airport in the nation, and the LA Long Beach Seaport is the largest seaport complex in the U.S. and accounts for approximately 35% of all maritime cargo entering the country. Mr. Martel?
Thank you, Cheryl. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. The great Thomas Edison once said, "The value of an idea lies in the using of it." A simple phrase with a powerful meaning. It seems that America's greatest inventor implied that ideas without action are pointless. This new Air CES, which we all stand here or sit here today, started as an idea, and with the help of leaders from the trade and the airport community, has become a reality. This facility reflects how an idea, combined with dedication, patience, and hard work, creates innovation. Over time, we've learned that CBP innovation in the cargo arena have an immediate force multiplier effect on cargo processing. Importers get their merchandise quicker, and we, CBP, strengthen our national security mission and impede contraband and other bad things from entering the country. By innovating the way we do business, CBP is contributing to the reopening of the economy after perhaps the most severe economic disruption in decades. Although e-commerce isn't a new phenomenon, it's nothing new to us, nothing compares to the unprecedented demand that we now face resulting from the pandemic. In fiscal year 2020, CBP at LAX processed 53 million e-commerce shipments, which represent a 657% increase from the 7 million shipments that were processed in 2019. And in 2021, CBP has already processed over 131 million e-commerce shipments, which represents roughly a 147% increase from 2020. Until now, cargo examined by CBP officers has occurred by us dispatching officers to up to 87 or approximately 87 bonded warehouses throughout the airport area, many of which are located up to 11 miles away from the port of entry. This is clearly an inefficient use of resources, as CBP personnel spend more time driving between the warehouses than they do examining cargo, which in the end ultimately delays the release of legitimate goods. The establishment of this facility affords CBP a central and secure location to examine cargo and the ability to quickly release cargo into the commerce of the United States. To meet CBP's mission needs, this facility is outfitted with a state-of-the-art non-intrusive inspection and technology or equipment, which will streamline the clearance process while further fostering the timely release of cargo. And by not sending our officers from location to location, our staff will be better able to facilitate trade while at the same time intercepting illicit goods that are coming into the country. This 40,000 square foot facility will allow our officers to process over 15,000 shipments every single day. And as Port Director Davies stated, this facility is the first dedicated Air Centralized Examination Station in the nation. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Customs Specialized Services, Mr. Gregory, Mr. Urbachi from Los Angeles World Airports, the trade community, a number of our enforcement and other government agency partners like Mr. Prince from Homeland Security Investigations and Mr. Dan Solis from the the Food and Drug Administration, as well as with our CBP leadership, Mr. Swanson, for all supporting us and making this idea become a reality. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today.
All right, thank you, Ms. Martell. Our next guest is CEO Tony Gregory. Mr. Gregory is the CEO of Customs Goods, the parent company to Customs Air Trucking, Customs Air Warehouse, and the new CES operations, Customs Specialized Services. One of the core services that Tony Gregory and his team bring to the table is extensive experience working with the trade community and with CBP on compliance, implementation, and innovation. At this time, I would like to bring up Mr. Gregory to say a few words.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, PD Davies and DFO Martell. This is an exciting and historic opportunity for us. I'd like to start off by just thanking our own team here at CSS, Customs Specialized Services. They did a great job at just executing on the tasks to get our CES ready. I'd also like to thank CBP for just the support and partnership, with a special call out to Chief Hogue for being our quarterback along the way. We simply could not do it without her guidance and support. And we'd also like to thank the trade community for all their support. CSS was built on the foundation that was launched by my father, Tony Gregory Sr., back in 1962, right here at Los Angeles International Airport, called Customs Air Warehouse. He developed one of the first GEO warehouses here at LAX in partnership with CBP to further protect our national security. GEO stands for General Order, which is status that's given to imported goods that do not have the proper documentation or cannot quickly clear through customs. Fast forward to today. 59 years later, our parent company, Custom Goods, operates Custom Air Trucking, Customs Air Warehouse, and now Customs Specialized Services. We have almost 5 million square feet of warehouse space throughout the United States, where we offer a variety of logistics services. But we could not be prouder to be a part of this first in the nation dedicated Air CES operation. It's a vision that's been discussed for many years, and now it's coming to fruition today, and that's exciting. We have a long-standing relationship with the freight forwarding and customs brokerage community. We've been working with them for years on expediting the recovery and delivery of cargo here at LAX. So we're super excited about the new Air CES because we know it will prove to just really help the flow of cargo. As DFO Martell stated and PD Davis, it's our mission to move legitimate merchandise quickly and efficiently through this process, this new CES operation, while adhering to the mission of CBP, which is to continue to protect the security, the national security. To be able to meet that goal, we have introduced some technology behind me. We have our Cubiscan and our astrophysics X-ray machine that has a dedicated conveyor that will weigh each item as it flows through our non-intrusive X-ray machine. Our Cubiscan, in conjunction with our X-ray machine, has diverters for additional inspections and sortations. This will allow us to move 15,000 shipments a day through this facility with the ability to expand. Technology will only improve the process, but technology will never replace America's frontline, U.S. Customs. I want to thank everybody for coming here today. I want to thank those who are live streaming to participate in what we know will be an exciting journey. We welcome all of you to our grand opening and to our ribbon cutting ceremony. Thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Martell and Mr. Gregory are now available to answer a few questions from the media.
Yes. Well, we have a layered enforcement strategy, so we make a determination through data and through information that we receive before the cargo arrives to determine what it is exactly we want to see. So our position is we inspect 100% of what we determine as high-risk cargo, but obviously it's not all the cargo that enters into the LAX area.
Sure, what you're saying is that the importers lift your radar screen in the past, this package may very well wind up here immediately.
Potentially, based on that could be one reason, but there could be a multitude of criteria that might have a package end up here.
How effective is this scanning system here, non-intrusive surveillance, to determine what's inside of these boxes when they go in? This is just this. Does it scan the barcode first, analyze it, report, and then if there's a problem, it flags next to it?
My understanding is it scans the barcode. We have visibility into what's in the package, at least what's been declared as part of the package, and then the technology, without going into details of how it works, gives us a visual of what's inside the package from all sides, almost as if the package were opened.
And if it says shoes, which you see like we have over there, a couple hundred packages of cigarettes, you're going to say, let's open this one up.
That is correct. If we identify any anomalies or anything out of the ordinary, anything that's not consistent with what's been declared, then it would be flagged for a physical inspection.
You mentioned, the gentleman here mentioned this is going to be the first. Is this a template in the future for what's going to be happening at major ports of entry across the United States as far as air cargo is concerned?
That's going to vary location by location. I can only speak for LA. This was something that we absolutely needed here, given the volume of cargo that we see here. Again, as Ms. Davies said, we process 40% of all the cargo that comes in by air through e-commerce, comes into Los Angeles. I imagine that this concept will be replicated at other locations, but I can't speak for the other field offices.
Well, here's the question. Is it big enough?
I would say that it is big enough. I understand that other field offices have iterations of this inspection process. So air cargo into a facility or a centralized facility is occurring in different fashion. This is the first facility that's dedicated exclusively to air cargo.
Could you double or triple the number of machine scanning points in this facility and handle more cargo than it has been before?
We could. If the need arises, we have the ability to expand this facility or even move into a secondary facility. If you don't already know, down at the LA Long Beach Seaport, we have 3 CESs for sea cargo. Ms. Davies, I believe it's up and running today?
October 1st is
Oh, is it October 1st officially? October 1st. In terms of tonnage, we would have to get back to you on the actual weight. What I can tell you is that we measure things based on value, and we see, in terms of e-commerce, we've seen over $10 million worth of value coming in through the airport. That's going to vary based on what the target is. So if we have to scan the entire pallet, we'll do so. If we're looking for a specific box or specific shipment, if it's a consolidated shipment, then we would target that particular shipment.
All right, now I'd like to invite everyone to join us in the ribbon cutting. Mr. Urbashi, if you could join us.
Sí, estoy esperando que les dé la demostración a a nuestros jefes en cuanto me digan, voy a salir de esta conferencia.
Perfecto.
So we do our best every day. So, tell me a little about.
Yes. So this is a small representation of what we have encountered and stopped and intersected. What the technology is going to be able to allow us to do is to detect all this violative merchandise with the equipment that we have present. In the past, we've been doing exams manually, utilizing officers, which will take us a great deal of time. Transportation, finding the shipment, and doing the exam, when now the officers will be able just to put the merchandise into the machine will assist us. Once we find an anomaly, we will open the box and make a determination to see if it's counterfeit or not. A lot of these are counterfeit, not by the manufacturer, but they're also been mismanifested, letting us know that they're trying to import Ottomans, when in reality there's stuff with cigarettes that are being smuggled.
How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Sandy Footy, right?
Hi, Mom.
Hey, hi. How are you?
Excited.
No going back. Thank you guys for coming. You can't do without you. It's very, yeah. Yes.